Get a cross and feel cover, but I think that's mostly just the lack of scatter terrain not really allowing us to hide on our way.
Haha! I know! What if I make some awesome covers using bits and pieces, just like the little figures would have done? Hey folks, my name is Leif and I want to welcome you to my channel called Devs and Dice, where I paint miniatures and craft terrain for the tabletop. Today I'm going to show you how I made these wonderful scatter terrain pieces to function as barricades or covers for my Mordheim board. So without further ado, let's get started. As per usual, I start out with some plan of what I'm gonna do, and this one ended up with being barricades. This meant that I could take use of all of the old bits of wood that I had left over after my builds. In addition to that, the good folks over at Ziterdes sent me a whole bunch of bits and pieces. These pieces are going to be perfect for me to get that environmental storytelling into the terrain. And the best part is that I'm going to be able to do barricades without having any sort of bases. So thank you very much, Ziterdes. The star of the show will be superglue and some activator. Now I really recommend this process of making covers, because I don't know about you, but I consider myself an empathetic designer. What I mean by that is I have a very easy time of putting myself in the situation of a character or such. In this case, a warband, trying desperately to stay alive in the ruins of Mordheim. They might grab some boards and try to jerry-rig them together to create covers. Realize that, they don't stand up. Olaf, go grab those barrels. Jörgen, grab some crates over there. And then they just, with some ingenuity and some motivation to stay alive, jerry-rig some kind of nice covers. I think like this all the time, and it really helps me to set my frame of mind into the right place. Here we even go as far as to create some pikes for defense. By the way, do you like my new apron? Peter over at Ant Farm Steel and Leather made it for me. Check the link above. Now, when it comes to gluing bits in, you have to be a little bit creative and try to think about, especially when it comes to pikes and such, to create as many contact points as possible. Super glue can be quite brittle, and it's important that it gets a proper adhesion to the material. At this point, I had the framework done for my barricades. Now, so far it's been fairly obvious things like barrels, crates, boards, and pikes. But as with all of my Mordheim terrain, I want to incorporate some storytelling elements. And the best way of doing that is to add small details and clues of past events. Alright, so I wanted these covers or barricades to be specific to Mordheim. I am sort of a all or nothing kind of guy when it comes to Mordheim specifically. So I just raided my bits box and found shields, old failed prints of axes and whatnot. Again, I emphasize it, I'm trying to create some sort of narrative, some sort of story. Think desperation. You're trying to stay alive, and for whatever reason, you think that this cover will do it for you. Now here comes a little tip on how to make some nice arrows. Now the purist amongst you will of course notice that, hey Leif, you're only making 2 Fletchers. Shouldn't there be 3 in a proper arrow? Yes, but this way was quite simple. I've never done it before, but I just thought about it and it worked quite nicely. And I'm sure you can use all kinds of tape. Masking tape was essentially what I had at hand. And I just tried it and I thought it looked pretty good. And also, who knows, these might be goblin arrows or something like that, so it's all okay. Now, once I was done with that, it was time to prime everything, and as usual, I'm using my Vallejo black primer through the airbrush. I want to take an opportunity to thank my patrons for their support, and a special shout out goes to my champion and legend level patrons. Andreas Winberg, Bo Ahlgren, Erik Ortman, Lawrence Davis, Mad Nurse, Magnus Solberg, Tine Martins, Battlecorgi the 7th, 4VXP, Leander, Marc-Antoine Laramie, Niklas Swedenlind, and Oliver Granlund. Thank you so much, good folks. I really appreciate it. As per usual, whenever I do any scatter terrain, I tend to go overboard, and that ended up with 13 covers. Half of them are 3-inch wide, and the other half is 2-inch wide. This will work pretty nicely on my Mordheim board, enabling me to put these wherever, and they will make sort of sense, even in the small walkways next to my canal. The first layer of paint will be a burnt umber through the airbrush, which is a transparent ink, so we will retain some of that zenithal prime that I put down. And as you know, brown is a good color that pretty much just encapsulates all of the other shades I have on my board. Now, when it came to the painting process, it was a simple matter of layering as much as I could do or felt obliged to do. One of the things that I want to call out a little bit more interesting, perhaps, is the process of griming these down, because for me it's very important that they speak the same language as the board. I used a sepia ink and shot it through the airbrush from below just to give a little bit of shade, then I used strong tone and military shader. Blood for the blood god was used for spray patterns of blood, and then some uhu glue to make it more gory. I really recommend that you do something like this with all of the bits and pieces that you have in your bits box. These covers look amazing on the battlefield, and it is so much fun to create these. You make up small little stories and narratives of how the desperate Empire troops try to craft covers in the field. And I really enjoyed this process quite a lot, so highly recommend it from me. I want to thank Ziterdes once again for sending me all of these bits. They really enabled me to unleash my creativity on the covers and barricades. Now I want to thank you for watching this video, and if you want to watch more videos, then YouTube recommends that you should be having a peek at these videos. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.